going on, everybody? Welcome to my Olympia predictions. We are doing the men's open first, and my camera doesn't have a lot of battery, so we're going to make this a lot quicker than that Arnold. We are going to do the top 10, so let's pull up the Olympia qualified list real quick. Right, so as you see, we have the Olympia qualified competitor list. We have, starting from the top, William Bonac, Hadi Choopan, Brandon Curry, Nathan Diasha, Mamdao Elsambai, Regan Grimes, Phil Heath, who is not competing, James Hollingshead, Hunter Labrada, Patrick Moore, Hassan Mustafa, Andrea Presti, Justin Rodriguez, Mohammed Shaban, Vladislav is not competing. I also forgot to mention Nathan Diasha not competing. Ian Ballier, Nick Walker, Akeem Williams, and Rolly Winkler. So there's 19 competitors on this total list. Only 16 are actually competing, which I think is actually less people than last year, if I remember correctly. So let's see who we have. We're going to start with number 10. And in the 10th spot, I'm going to put Mr. Hunter Labrada. So why do I have Hunter Labrada in 10th when he was 8th last year? Well, Hunter has made improvements. He did look really good at Chicago. Right here you can see on his Instagram his video from Chicago. But this is his weakness. Hunter does not have the greatest back in the world. He's, still young. He's in his late 20s, still working on it, getting better. But his second biggest weakness, which if you're not an intense bodybuilding fan, you wouldn't know this because a lot of people don't, right here. His conditioning is not the best. So what can Hunter do? If Hunter gets his back thicker, his chest is also a little flat. If Hunter gets a bigger chest, a bigger back, and just works on his conditioning better, because he should have shredded glutes right here, and these are not shredded at all. So Hunter is definitely lacking in conditioning. That's something he's always lacked in. That's what hurt him in last Olympia. And I know it's been a couple of months since he's competed, but I do think that it's not going to be much better than this conditioning, so I'm going to knock him to 10th place. So we are going into 9th place, and in 9th place I have Mr. Rolly Winkler. Rolly was someone that did really, really poorly this year. He came back in Chicago, and he just didn't have it. He tried competing last year at the Olympia, got COVID right before, so he couldn't compete. And then he came in Chicago, and he looked really, really rough. He did not look good. This is him right here. This was a rough look. Rolly did not train for quite a while because of COVID. I think his gyms were locked down and everything, so he had a lot of trouble training. So he obviously flattened out, and he probably prepped without really training too, so he probably lost some size. So that showing Chicago where he came 4th was not good for him at all. And now you're thinking, oh, but in Chicago, Hunter beat him. Why would Rolly come back? Well, Rolly came back in the European Spain show and came back looking even better. He didn't look back to his normal spot, but he looked better. He was supposed to do a couple other shows. Instead of doing Spain, he was supposed to do Tampa or Texas or something, but he didn't do that. He ended up doing Spain instead. He got qualified because he got 2nd place, and he ended up skipping on the Arnold, and he didn't say anything about it, and now he's doing the Olympia without really saying much. I think he's coming to shock people. He's really hiding a lot. All you can really see is, him with Hunter Labrada, and then you have this picture with him and his nephew. But, how old is this picture of him and his nephew? You don't know. I will say, in every other picture that looks like it's more recent, all covered up, I really think that we are going to see Rolly really improved. Now, is he going to be enough improved to beat most of the pack? He might. But I'm being a little generous with where I put him because I don't want to put him too high and having too much faith in him, because Rolly has burned us before by putting too much faith in him. But who knows? He might pull a big Rami like Rami did last year and just surprise everyone. So, safe bet, he could be 9th. I could also see him going into the 8th spot. Now, 8th spot, we are going to have Mr. Justin Rodriguez. Justin was 10th last year. I think he's going to move up to 8th. He's going to beat some guys that he lost to before, but Listen, Justin got second at New York Pro to Nick, won Indy this year against a pretty good group of guys, and most importantly, he got fourth at the Arnold, looking phenomenal. No one can ever sleep on this man. The only thing I feel like he's lacking is a little bit more conditioning. I don't think he's going to get that conditioning in yet, but if this man was 100% shredded, he would be unstoppable. I've seen him in person. He's a very large person, and he does look good here, but I will say that I posed in this gym, in this posing room, and that posing room has very good lighting, so he might not look as good as we think. But I do think he's going to solidify that 8th spot. Maybe he'd be 9th depending on how Rolly looks, but I don't think he's going anything lower than 9th. Next, after him, we have someone that really could be higher on this list if there wasn't so many competitors, and that's going to be Mr. James the Shed Hollingshead. He is just big, shredded, bone dry, lean, crazy. He's really going to bring a big package to this show. Look at his back development, his thickness, his arms look bigger, his legs are just in great shape and size, his hamstrings, the vascularity and the dryness all around. He looks great. The only thing is he's going to have to be going against a big group of guys that he's never gone against before. So he honestly could be like 4th in this call out, but I don't know how he stands against these guys. So to be more conservative with my placings, I'm going to place him in 7th, which is nothing to sneeze at because Ian Ballier got 7th last year, and look at him now. He's 2nd at the Arnold, won 2 pro shows back to back. So I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff from James Hollingshead at the Olympia, and even better in the years and months to come. So after that, we're going to go to number 6. Number 6 is going to be a bit controversial. That is going to be William the Conqueror Bonac. I think this will be the first time in many years that I can remember that he is not top 5 in the Olympia, and that's just because I feel like we are getting a good group of guys. He's recently switched coaches to the Oxygen Gym guys, and he's been having problems coming into the country. His gyno's been acting up a lot, as you can see here, which is not very pleasant, and his conditioning does look good and he looks big, but I really think that a lot of those O2 guys are playing the size game a lot, and I think that's going to hurt them. That's why I think Rolly's going to be as far back as he is. That's why I have William right here. That's why I'm going to spoil it now. I have Akeem not even in top 10. I think they're playing too much of the big game. Those O2 guys are really failing, I think, this year. So that's why I have William in 6th. I don't think he would have beat Nick at the Arnold, and I definitely don't think he's beating him at the Olympia. So number 5, I'm going to put... This one's going to be a hard one to put, but I'm going to put Ian Ballier in 5th place. I think he's going to move from 7th to 5th very easily. He was 2nd at the Arnold, won 2 pro shows back-to-back. He won Texas and Tampa. He's beaten Steve Kuklo. He beat Phil Klahar, who obviously is not a well-known bodybuilder, but was an amazing physique at those shows. He's beaten Sergio Oliva Jr. He beat Justin Rodriguez. He is just on top of the world right now. He's basically neck and neck with Nick Walker with this. Like, this call-out, he looks crazy. And the only person that's even crushing him is Nick. So I really think that this just dryness and the vascularity and the musculature, I think that's really going to carry him away to the top 5. And Patrick Torr's doing great with his guys. So listen, props to him. Matt Jansen and Patrick Torr are really killing it with their guys this year. So in 4th place, I have Mr. Olympia 2019, Brandon Curry. I know that's crazy. He went from 1st to 2nd to 4th now. Yeah, I just think it's a big lineup. And last year, Brandon played the shredded game to beat Phil. He beat Phil, but he didn't expect Rami to come in big and shredded. So now I think he's playing the size game like all the other O2 guys to beat Rami. They're all chasing Rami's size. And I think that he's going to be too big, and a lot of these guys are going to outclass him by being way leaner. I honestly think Ian Ballier and James Hollingshead can sneak by him and William Bonac, depending on how shredded they are compared to these two guys. I do have faith that, a little bit of politics and stuff, that they'll keep these guys a little bit higher than that, but you never know. I really do think that conditioning is going to be the winner of this competition. So that's why I have Brandon Curry in 4th place, mainly because I just don't think he's going to be lean enough. I think he's really going to play that size game. So who do we have in 3rd place? Hadi Chupin. Hadi Chupin looks phenomenal, looks great, can stand toe-to-toe with Rami, has a very aesthetic and beautiful physique, but I don't think he can beat Rami. And our second place competitor, who you probably already can guess, is Mr. Nick Walker. So, yes, I have Nick Walker beating Hadi Chupin, Nick in second place. Nick said he was going to win the New York Pro, he won. He said he's going to win the Arnold, he won. I think he said he's going to be like top 5 at the Olympia this year. I have him in top 2. He is an absolute mutant, and I think he beats Hadi in every single shot, except maybe the side tricep and the front lat. He beats Hadi in every other shot, just with conditioning, size, and just overall mass. The only thing that I could put Hadi above him in is if Hadi comes in even more conditioned than he was last year, which I think he will. But if he can beat Nick's conditioning, which I don't think he can, I think he can get second place. But I really think that Nick is going to solidify that second, and we are going to see a repeat winner of Mr. Big Rami. Rami took a couple months off without training. He really pulled the Kevin Levrone this year, just relaxing his body, and he just wants to come in even more shredded. I'm sorry, Rami was crazy peeled last year. If he gets even more shredded, no one's touching him. He's big and shredded. No one is touching him. That's why I think shreds are going to win this show. If you are not shredded to the bone, if you cannot see every single muscle fiber flex and twitch while you're walking across the stage, you are not going to do well. And I think that the only thing that's holding some of these guys to have higher placings than they should have is politics and, status. Bonac and Brandon being the two that I'm thinking of. But I don't think that anyone is going to beat Rami. He's training hard. He's doing the same he did last year, and I think he's going to be unstoppable. So that's my picks for the top 10 Mr. Olympia. I'm going to do Classic Physique and 212 together in the next video. Put your guys' guess in the bottom below. I'm curious to see what people think. I would like to say, though, Nick Walker went from 8th place in my list to being 2nd just by seeing him at the Arnold. So I've moved around these guys quite a lot, and I'm not even sure about them right now. As you can see, I was saying, like, size and shreds. It's really getting to me, but I'm quite certain that this might be our call. This might be our final Olympia list, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video when we do Classic and 212.
Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on.